Welcome to this overview of the Duet Service Desk application and the integration with Pegasus Opera 3, Service and Helpdesk Management. The video is suitable for new or existing users of SHDM who wish to add mobile field service functionality to the solution. It may also be of interest to existing users of the SHDM mobile PDA application who are looking to upgrade to a more modern mobile solution which will run on a wide range of devices, including Android and iOS. We will look at how a call is transferred to Duet, an engineer progresses the call using a mobile device, and logs time, parts issued, signatures and images, and finally, completes the call, and updates Opera. For details on any aspect of the Duet link, or Duet itself, please refer to the online documentation. We will begin by taking a look at Duet, and in particular, the Service Desk application. The key features of Duet are cloud-based. There are no software installations or user updates to manage. Runs on mobile, tablet or desktop. Full application functionality is available no matter which type of device you are using. Offline working if no internet connection is available. Use standalone or add mobile functionality to existing back-office systems. Import and export of data via CSV, Excel, or API. In this video, I will be showing both a desktop and mobile view of Duet. The Duet organization that we are working with is Orion Vehicles Leasing, which corresponds to the standard demo company in Opera. Each organization in Duet is provided with an administrator account. Once activated, this account can be used to configure the software and add additional user accounts to the organization. We will sign in as the administrator. Okay, now we are signed in, we can see the Duet home screen, also known as the dashboard. As we are signed in as the administrator account, then we can only see options that relate to administration of the system. Let's take a quick look at the organization option, which contains the system settings. We can see items such as the name of the organization, the unique system ID and namespace, which are provided for you, the applications that are available to use, default country and locale settings, the system colors. These can be customized, for example, to match your company branding. The types of notifications that are sent to users. Email notifications of important events or tasks can be sent in addition to the standard internal Duet notifications. Some of the organization settings, such as applications in use and notifications, can be overridden for individual user accounts if required. There are also sections which relate to each Duet application. For the service application, we can set a list of users who will automatically be notified whenever a new service ticket is raised in Duet. We will now look at the Users option. This is where the administrator can create additional user accounts and control the applications and access rights that are available to users. When a new account is created, an email containing a temporary password is sent to the email address that you specify for the user. The user can follow the link in the email to access their account and create a permanent password. For the purposes of this video, we will be looking at two user accounts. These are Richard, a service controller who can manage and schedule service tickets, and Wendy, who is a service provider. Firstly, let's take a look at Richard. In Richard's record we can see details such as his reference number, name and alias details, email address, and telephone. We can also see the list of Duet applications that Richard has access to. Remember, for details on all of these settings, you can refer to the Duet online documentation. There are also settings which relate to each Duet application. Let's look at the settings for the Service Desk application. These settings determine the roles that Richard can perform within the Service Desk. A service controller can manage service tickets and create and allocate tasks to service providers. A service provider can progress tasks that have been allocated to them. Richard is both a service controller and a service provider, so can perform both roles. The report manager setting specifies that Richard can run service desk reports on the entire organization. The issue locations setting specifies which locations, or warehouses Richard can issue stock from. As Richard is a manager-level user, we have left this setting empty, which means that Richard can issue stock from any location. Finally, the editor status section enables fine control over which options Richard has access to. As Richard is a senior manager, he has been given access to everything. Now we will take a look at Wendy. There are several differences to Richard's account. The applications setting only contains the Service Desk application. Wendy will not have access to any other Duet application when she signs in. The maximum offline age setting contains a value of 1. This means that Wendy will be prompted to update the offline data that is stored on her device when it is more than 1 day old. Unlike Richard, Wendy is not a service controller, so she cannot manage service tickets or schedule work for other users. However, she is a service provider, so she can progress tasks that are allocated to her. Wendy is not a report manager. This means that she can still run service desk reports, but will only see details of tickets and tasks that have been assigned to her. We only want Wendy to be able to issue stock from either the main warehouse or van number 1. So we will set these values. In the editor status section, we have only granted Wendy access to manage customer assets. This is so that, as a service provider, Wendy can update details of the assets at a customer site as part of progressing a task. As we will see later, these settings mean that Wendy will have a much more focused set of options available on her dashboard when she signs into Duet. Before we look at the integration with Opera, we will quickly run through some of the features of the Duet Service Desk application. Duet is also designed to be used as a standalone solution, but in the scenario where Opera is integrated, most of the data you see here will be created automatically. We will sign in as Richard. A good place to start is the customer option. This will present us with a list of our customer records. If we select the magnifying glass icon, then we can narrow the list down to items which match what we have typed. Now we have found the customer that we are looking for. Selecting the right chevron will open the customer record. Here we can see details of the customer, name, contact details, email address, etc. Throughout the application, fields which contain details such as a telephone number, email address, or a link, such as a website, will usually include an icon which will enable you to access that item directly. For instance, clicking the telephone icon will attempt to dial the number. Beneath the customer details, we can see lists of items which belong to this customer. These are service contracts, locations, and assets, which are known as equipment in Opera. Selecting the right chevron next to any item will open that item. So, if we want to see more details about the fleet services contract, we can select that item and open it. This brings up details of the service contract. The contract view includes a list of assets that are covered by the contract. Again, if we wish to take a closer look at an asset, for example, the BMW X5, then we can select the right chevron and open it. Selecting the back arrow once will take us back to our contract record. And again, back to our customer record. Each customer can have multiple locations. When integrated with Opera, each CRM contact is represented by a separate location. We will open the location for Gordon. Each location can have its own postal address, contact information, and geotag information, which enables us to view the location on a map and assists service providers to navigate to it accurately. If required, a location can be further divided into sublocations. Each sublocation can have its own contact and geotag information. A customer asset can optionally be assigned to a location and a sublocation, enabling the asset to be located easily when on site. We will now return to the dashboard and take a brief look at some of the other options that are key to the setup of the Service Desk application. Inventory is a list of stocked items that can be issued by service providers. When using the Opera integration, these records can be exported from Opera stock. Ticket types enable you to classify and assign rules to different types of service ticket. For example, if we look at the repair ticket type, we can see various settings. Allocate to is a list of users who will automatically be allocated to tickets of this type, whenever they are raised. So, for example, repair tickets may be managed by different users to installation tickets. We can specify whether tasks are required for this type of ticket, whether a customer must be specified or is optional. For planned maintenance ticket types, it may be that a customer must be specified, whether customer assets or inventory should be specified for this type of ticket, whether a contract must be specified. Again, it may be that a contract is required for planned maintenance, but not for repairs or remedial work. When using the Opera integration, ticket types are automatically exported from job types in Opera SHDM. Task types enable you to classify and assign rules to different types of tasks that can be allocated to service providers. There are several settings for task types. For example, do service parts have to be issued for this type of task? Are service provider and customer signatures required? Does an image of the completed work need to be captured? If you are using other Duet applications, do timesheets, expenses or requisitions have to be recorded? When using the Opera integration, task types are automatically exported from activity types in Opera SHDM. There are several other setup items available on the dashboard. Please refer to the Duet documentation for details of these. When using the Opera integration, these items are exported from equivalent records in Opera where required. Okay, we will now switch to Opera and look at configuring the Duet link. The Duet link appears as an additional module within Opera. There are sections for each of the Duet applications, as well as a utilities section where we can configure and control the link. First, we look at set options. The Duet API path tells the system where the Duet API can be found. The value to use here will be provided by your Duet supplier. For this video, I am using a demo API path. The Duet namespace uniquely identifies your organization, and again, the value will be provided for you. I am going to use Orion, which is the unique namespace that identifies our Duet organization, Orion Vehicles Leasing. We can then select the individual links that we wish to enable. These can be changed in future, if required. For this demonstration, we will select the Service Desk to SHDM link. As we are configuring a link to Duet Service Desk, there are a number of other options on the Service Desk tab that we may wish to configure. For now, we will set the stock export filters, so to only send items that are currently in stock to Duet, and in addition we will filter the export list to only include items which are in our main warehouse, van number 1, or van number 2. There are some additional filters that you can configure. Please refer to the online documentation for more details. The Helpdesk call update options affect how calls in Opera are updated from Duet. The worksheet options here enable us to automatically create worksheet entries based on the times that Duet tasks are opened, started, and completed. Typically, these would represent traveling time and working time. We will tick both and select the travel activity type for traveling time, and the working activity type for working time. The auto clear option is ticked if worksheet entries are to be automatically cleared for billing. We want to check the worksheet entries and clear them for billing manually, so we will not tick this option. Update equipment register specifies if changes made to assets in Duet by the service provider, such as a change of serial number or last service date, are applied to the equipment register record in Opera. Finally, the last two options specify whether images and signatures should be imported into Opera and stored in the Helpdesk history. When we select OK, a Duet login ID and password will be requested. We will enter our Duet credentials for our service controller, Richard. If the account details are authenticated correctly, then the Set option form closes. The Duet link is now configured. When a Helpdesk call is sent to Duet, supporting items of data such as customers, contracts, and equipment are automatically exported as well. However, other items need to be exported separately, because they are selected and added to a task by a service provider within Duet. Let's look at the Exports option. This has 3 tabs. The first tab enables you to select open helpdesk calls to send to Duet. The second tab enables you to export warehouses as part issue locations, activity types as part issue types, activity outcomes as task outcome types, job types as ticket types, and activity types as task types. If the New Records Only box is ticked, then only records which have not already been exported to Duet will be sent. Unticking this option will also update existing records. Finally, the Stock tab enables you to export stock items to Duet's inventory. The stock list will be filtered according to the rules defined in Set Options. You can also restrict the export of stock to items that have been transacted on or since a specified date. After you have made your selections and selected OK, the system will request Duet credentials and export the data to Duet via the API. Now we can look at the day-to-day process of scheduling a helpdesk call within Opera, sending the call to Duet, a service provider progressing the call within Duet, and updating Opera. Firstly, we will go into CRM, Helpdesk Management, Processing, and create a new helpdesk call in the normal way. We will choose a contract and an item of equipment. The default job type is repair. We will leave this as it is. Select a fault code. In this case, it's a mechanical problem. Now we add a problem description and save the call. We will now open the Resource Scheduler. This will show us a list of our engineering resources. Any resources that we wish to use in Duet have to be set up as service provider users. In this case, we are going to send the call to Wendy. We will schedule Wendy for 2 hours starting at 1 p.m. If required, we could schedule multiple visits and engineers at once using this screen. Once we are happy, we select Commit to save the changes and close the resource schedule. We will now choose the option to send to Duet. This will use the API to send the call to Duet as a service ticket, and create a service task for Wendy. We will now switch to a view of Wendy's mobile device, and sign into Duet. Wendy has only been given access to the applications and options that she needs. We will quickly run through the options that are available. At the top of the mobile screen is a reminder to update offline data. If we tap the prompt, then the data that is stored on the device to assist with offline working is updated. Notifications shows a list of events that have occurred in Duet that require your attention, such as a task being assigned to you. There is a badge that currently shows the number 1, which means that there is one new notification. Wendy has access to Service Desk reports. As she is not a report manager, she can only run reports for her own data. Tasks is a key option. It shows a list of service tasks that are allocated to you. Again, there is a badge displaying how many items are currently in your task list. Refresh offline data will refresh the offline data stored on the device. In Service Desk, Quick Entry will enable Wendy to log a new service ticket. Wendy has been given access to the asset register. Finally, Offline Tasks displays a read-only task list, plus the associated data, such as service ticket, customer, location and asset details, without an internet connection. Okay, let's take a look at the notification. Wendy has been notified about the task that has been scheduled for her. Wendy can open the task by tapping on the chevron next to the notification. The same is true of any type of document in Duet. For example, if a notification relates to a service ticket, then selecting the chevron will open the ticket. Alternatively, she can see the task in the task view from the dashboard. The task view shows a list of all tasks that are currently allocated to Wendy, and are grouped by status. There is currently one scheduled task. This is the task that was scheduled in Opera. The information shown in the task summary includes the planned start date and time, the customer, location, and ticket description. There are also several actions that can be performed against a task. These include viewing the task history, viewing and adding comments, viewing file attachments and images, and options for progressing the status of the task. Let's select the chevron to open the detailed view of the task. Here we can see more information, such as who raised the task, and details of assets and parts issued. Selecting the information icon next to the location will show a summary of the key location information. We can email or call the customer from here and use the address or geotag information to open our navigation app to take us directly to the site. If we tap the Action menu button at the bottom of the screen, a set of actions appears which is like those on the previous screen. OK, let's select the Open action. Open is an optional stage that means we are dealing with the task, but have not actually started work yet. In Wendy's case, this means that she is traveling to the customer's site. We can confirm the date and time, and enter some notes to go with the status change. Select Tick to confirm. Duet confirms that the task has been opened and returns us to the task list. The status of the task has changed. So, Wendy is traveling to the customer's site, but has a problem. She's stuck in heavy traffic and is likely to arrive slightly later than planned. Rather than calling the office, she can update the task by adding a comment. Comments can be added to a task at any stage. The service controller will receive a notification whenever Wendy adds a comment, and Wendy will receive a notification whenever a service controller adds a comment. This way, all comments are stored as part of the history of the service ticket and task. Let's take a look at how this affects the helpdesk call, back in Opera. On the helpdesk processing form, there is a button called Update from Duet. Selecting this option will update the helpdesk call via the API. We can see that the status of the call has been updated to traveling. The notes have also been updated with the comment that Wendy added when she changed the status of her task, and the subsequent comment about being stuck in traffic. You don't have to update helpdesk calls individually. In the Duet link menu there is an option called Helpdesk Monitor. This lists all open calls that have been sent to Duet. We can multi-select individual calls, or select calls that are scheduled for today and past dates. We can then update all the selected calls in one go. Now we can look at how Wendy progresses the task through to completion, and adds parts used, images and signatures. When Wendy arrives on site and is ready to start work, she can update the task status by choosing Start Work. We'll enter a comment and confirm the start time. The task status has now been updated. While Wendy is working on the task, she may need to update details of an asset. Perhaps the serial number is incorrect, for example. She can also capture images of the work, using the device camera. Parts used can be recorded. Select the plus next to the control to add a new part issue. Select the issue type. Select the asset that the part is being used on. Select the location that the part is being issued from. In this case, Wendy is issuing the part from van stock. Now choose the part from a list of inventory. The search can be used to narrow the list of items down. To see more details about an item, select the right chevron. Once an item has been selected, enter a quantity, and optionally, a serial number, version and notes. Select the tick to save. The new part issue appears in the list. Additional parts can be added as required. At any time, the task can be saved by selecting the tick, which will return to the task list. We can now look at the process for completing the task. Fields required for completion appear in their own section. The rules on which fields are required can be defined for each type of task. We can select an outcome type. In this case, successful completion. A service provider signature is required. A customer signature is also required. The name of the customer who has signed can be entered. If a customer signature cannot be obtained, a reason can be entered. We will now select the complete task action from the menu. Confirm the date and time of completion, and enter a comment. Once completion is confirmed, we are returned to the task list where we can move on to the next task. We will now go back to Opera to do the final updates, and finally complete and invoice the call. We will run the update from Duet option. The notes are updated with the comments that Wendy entered when she started work, together with the date and time. As Wendy has completed the task in Duet, the resolution is updated with the notes that she entered on completion. The date and time here is the completion date and time. The status of the call has been updated to working. As we are happy that all tasks have been completed, then we will complete the helpdesk call. If we switch to the History tab, we will see that the customer and provider signatures, plus any photographs taken by Wendy, have been stored. If we take a brief look at the record for the equipment on the call, which was a BMW X5, we can see that the serial number has been updated with the change that Wendy made to the asset in Duet. The change is recorded in the Changes tab on the equipment screen. The entry notes that the change was made by Wendy in Duet. Let's have a look at the worksheet entries that have been created by the update. We can see that we have 2 entries for part issues. These were created by Wendy in Duet. The costs and charges have been calculated from the pricing rules in the stock and invoicing modules. We configured the link to create time worksheet entries based on the task times in Duet, so these have also been created. There is an entry for traveling time, based on the time between Wendy opening the task and starting work. There is also an entry for working time. This is based on the time between Wendy starting work and completing the task. Costs and charges have been calculated, based on the rules defined in the SHDM worksheet activity types. We can check and, if required, amend these worksheet entries. If we wish to progress them to billing, then we can set the cleared box. Finally, once the standard SHDM billing processes have been completed, we can produce an invoicing document for the call in SOP. Reporting functions are available in Opera to enable images and signatures to be added to SOP documents. This concludes our overview of the Duet Service Desk application and the integration with Opera 3 SHDM. For details on other Duet applications, please see other videos in this series. Thank you for watching.